Hello and welcome back to the Embody Podcast. Today I'm recording from my bed. I'm not sick. I'm actually avoiding, the last few weeks I've been avoiding doing what I know I need to do, which is to pause, really slow down and go deep and give myself so much room so that my internal process can happen. I've been avoiding it. I've been resisting it because my fears came in. I started getting, let's just say the last couple of months, I've thought about buying a house again, getting a farm, having Highland cows, mini Highland cows and sheep with my partner. But recently we decided to let go of all that. The thing is, it's created a lot of inner freedom, except for this one little part where I decided that I needed to make a lot more money than I was making at that very moment that I decided this. And that part didn't get let go with the rest of the ideas. So I'm realizing that just touched into these old money fears and this old relationship with money that has lived with me for a long time and has come up for another round. So those were the fears that came up, pulling me into doing more, into working the external world rather than getting inside and getting more deeply aligned. Because what I know right now is that there's so much energy shifting in and outside of me that I am challenged to keep up. It's asking a lot of me, and it's giving me a very narrow space a narrow space that says, this is your alignment right in this space. And if you go outside of that, you're really not doing what is for you right now. And I've definitely gone outside of it. It's not the podcast's fault, but this happened about 4 weeks ago when I started the podcast again. I got excited and I started making little videos for Instagram and all the other social media pages, but it took a lot of time. And I realized that I was devoting all this energy to doing that, where that was the distraction from my spiritual path. If this wasn't obvious to you, I guess I want to say it's probably more obvious to you than it was to me that my spiritual journey and my ascension path is the number one priority in my life, in this existence. And there are parts of me that resist that because I think, oh, what about these things that I want to do in the external world? And all of that is fine. It's just that my path is asking of me for a deeper process to transform and have metamorphosis. When it calls for that, sometimes I get my ego fears out and I say, no, I'm going to pay attention to all these other things. And I know it while it's happening. I know that there's something emerging inside of me. There's something that wants to be seen. There's something that's unfolding, and maybe energies that are wanting to be downloaded or moved and run through my body that I've been avoiding. So I wanted to share this today because my sense is that there are a lot of people around me that are experiencing the same thing, that life demands take precedent a little more than, or a lot more than they should. I hate to use that word, but a lot more than our spiritual center is asking. Those spiritual needs are being ignored sometimes. I'm wondering if this touches you in any way. If there's any whisper inside of you that says, there's something you need to pay attention to, or there's something you need to do or not do. You actually want to be doing this. And maybe there's some fear involved, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to let go of doing the grind. I don't want to let go of working because I'm afraid I won't have enough, or any of the fears that come up when these sorts of things ask you to pause. So yeah, I'm sitting cozy in my bed. This is my partial tending to the things I wanted to do in the external world. The rest of me saying, okay, I give. After this, I will take time to meditate, and I will give myself as much time as I need to allow what wants to be seen and moved through me to happen. And I know not everyone has lives that can be this way, but whatever your life circumstances are, maybe there is something that you need to risk. I say that because it's like only the ego feels the risk. The spirit says, this is exactly what you need to do. I've been asking you to do this. I've been whispering in your ear. I've been knocking on your door. And what I know is it becomes more and more uncomfortable if you don't listen. If you don't listen to that deeper call and that deeper need inside of yourself that tells you exactly what you need to do. And sometimes we say, well, I don't know what that is. I spent some time doing that. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what to do next. I feel aimless. Well, I do know what to do. I do know what I'm being called to from the inside out, and I'm just not doing it. So is there something in you that might feel the same way? And why? A lot of times people tell me it's because of the unknown. I'm scared of the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen if I let go of this, if I end this relationship, or if I take a step back. I don't know what's going to happen if I leave this job. I don't know what's going to happen if I go for this thing that feels exciting to me. And they're scared of that unknown. Well, I'm calling your bluff. Maybe it's not a bluff. Maybe it's more like conflating two things and calling one thing the other. Let me explain what I think. Usually what I see when people say that they're scared of the unknown is that they're actually scared of something, but it's not the unknown they're scared of. It's the actual fear of something else. And it's that fear that is the story. It pulls out the story of what you've believed and what you believe this world is like and how it works for you. I heard a question the other day, and it was like, one of the most essential things to ask yourself is, do you believe that it's inherently a good-natured universe or a bad-natured one? It was in some words like that. I think that I changed the words at this point, but is it inherently a universe that is malintentioned or bad, or is it inherently a good one? Is this inherently a supportive space that you exist in? And when I think of the unknown, what we usually do is we say we're scared of the unknown, but we're actually afraid of specific things. It's not the unknown we're scared of. It's that we're scared of not having enough, not being enough, not being good enough, that we won't be able to do it, that we're not worthy of what we want. We can't want that. We don't deserve that. We aren't ready for that. There are just a million reasons that are part of our story of why we're afraid to do whatever it is, but we blame it on the unknown. So we say, oh, it's just the unknown and the uncertainty of it all that's so scary. That's not true in most cases. The uncertainty and the unknown bring up your story. They bring up your actual fears. And if you're willing to venture down that pathway and find out what those fears are, maybe you already know, then you're going to do a service to yourself because you're going to separate fear from the unknown. And the unknown can return to what it actually is. The unknown is so magical. It's beautiful because so many wonderful things can happen and be created in that space. So many things that we don't even fathom and could be way better than we could even imagine. The unknown is the mystery of life. It's how things could unfold, emerge, and become in beautiful ways. And we've just given it a bad rap. We've said, oh, the unknown is terrifying. The unknown is scary. No, what's scary is your fear of not being enough, your fear of not having enough, your fear of being unworthy or being criticized or being judged or being anything that is undesirable, that is part of your story. That's not the unknown. That's just your fears. So if you do this with me, take your fists, your two hands, if you are capable of this, just hold two fists out in front of you and push them together at your thumb and pointer fingers so that your hands are touching in fists. And in your left hand, imagine that that's the unknown. And in your right hand, right fist, imagine that that's all the fears that you have that come up because we don't know what's happening next. And then start to loosen that connection up between the two hands, between the two fists, and give a little space slowly. And just see what happens as you separate and unpair the unknown from the fears that get ruffled up when you think of the unknown. And start to have movement where both of those can act on their own planes of existence and they're not immediately associated and connected. So what's happening is that when the thought of the unknown comes up, or the sense of, I don't know what's going to happen, immediately your fears have been attached to that and those come up. So then they're conflated and they become the same thing. But if we separate them like you're doing now and playing with it, then you can see that your fears are just your fears and you can work with them. And the unknown is a whole other thing. And we've just said to the unknown that you're scary. But the funny thing about that is that instead of letting the unknown be truly unknown, we've decided to conflate it with fear. And those stories of the fear are usually that I'm afraid X, Y, and Z will happen. And that's actually more known than unknown. It's more known that these are your fears and that could happen than truly letting the unknown just be unknown and free, alive, evolving. By those stories that are loaded with fear, or whatever story you have, that's what creates itself. So if you're holding on to the unknown, aka all these fears, and those are just living in you, that's going to create itself. And it's going to create itself so that you can see it. So you can see what you created. You get immediate feedback, sometimes delayed, or it takes its time, right, to percolate, to manifest. But you will get a reflection or a signal of what you have created in that external world, through that external world of your inner reality. Everything outside of us is telling us what is in our inner reality. And that's the beauty of creation in this existence. And I mean that broader idea of creation, not like creating a little piece of art that you hang on the wall. I mean the creation of your life and existence through your energy, beliefs, emotions, and thoughts. And to create in a conscious way is to say, these are the stories that I've created before, and I'm going to create a new one. I want to create one that's present to me now and align with that version of myself and not the old ones. And if it's not easy to align with that new version, then it might take a little bit of moving the old energies out and clearing them through, and then coming to that new one, or back and forth, so that you can work with both a little bit at a time. So we have filled the unknown with our fears and used it as a replacement for fear because we often don't want to look and feel into those fears or address them. We are afraid of our fears sometimes. So it's not the unknown that's inherently scary, it's the fear. But the thing is, your thoughts are not your reality. Your past is not your current reality, and your past does not define your future. Every present moment is a separate moment. In this moment, you can choose to create a new reality going forward to the next moment, to the next moment, to the next moment. So can you surrender to an unknown that actually feels magical and alive, free and beautiful, one that could be filled with mystery, beauty, divinity, yummy things that you can create because you're conscious and you're aware of what you're creating next. Because it's a wide open space of everything, that it just brings forward everything that could be there. And maybe you're actually creating something more beautiful than the fears. But what I tend to see happen is when people get caught up in their fears, or that there is a fear there, that they focus on that instead of the rest of the things that could possibly happen. So let yourself lean in to the beautiful things that could happen in the unknown. Let that be your story, that unexpected, magical, amazing, fresh things happen in the unknown. And the unknown is full of everything you could ever want and everything that's coming to you, everything that's unfolding. So we don't know what it's going to be, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be so delicious that you can't even imagine how good it can be right now. Abraham Hicks says something like, "Universe, show me how good it gets to be. Show me how good it gets to be. If I'm good, then show me how good it gets to be for me. Life gets to be for me." We can let go and surrender into the unknown instead of trying to control it. The only reason we're trying to control the future and the next moment is that we're scared. We're scared of the thing that we think could happen and maybe has happened in the past. All of that is unconscious creation. Well, until it becomes conscious, then maybe you're creating it and suffering through it and knowing it. So that's kind of a middle step. But when you're just attributing it to the unknown and the uncertainty that's scary, then you're just leaving all your fears unconscious. Put them into the light. Forgive yourself for having judgment of having fears of X, Y, and Z. The thing is that when you have those worries sitting there, and especially when you've wrapped them into that unknown burrito, you are creating that again. It's who you're being because it's living in your energy and your frequency. So put them into the light by seeing them. Even if you just have this little signal that something is not quite feeling good, if there's a little fear there, you know that it's the opening for the next wonderful unfolding that could be so magical, because anytime there's something uncomfortable showing up, the equal, proportionate, beautiful energy and desire is already set in motion because of that discomfort. So I'm going to stop clamping down my life energy, which is something that I cycle in and out of over and over, because as expansion and ascension continue for me, new pieces of old energies keep coming up. I might forget who I am for a moment, fall out of my alignment, fall into that old energy, and then realize that's really uncomfortable and come back to myself. Come back to that uncertain, unknown, magical, mystical mystery of my energy that is creating itself moment to moment and is not any of those fears that I used to and sometimes think I am. And I'm going to let go of feeling responsible for everything to happen. I think in the last couple of weeks, I felt this weight that I need to make something happen. I need to create more. I need to stir up that energy. I think it's just something that needed to happen internally, first of all, and then to feel inspired from the inside and then create action from that new alignment. I'm wanting that preemptively almost. It's like that needs to happen and it needs to take a little bit more time and my focus. And I want to skip that. I just want to go to the thing that is in the external world. But as of this moment, again, you are my witness. I'm going to let go and pause, and I'm going to surrender, because that's truly what I want. I want to be that being that surrenders into myself, the self that knows the next step and trusts all of it. The part of me that doesn't have fear, because I feel completely whole and there's nothing I need to control or make happen. It all is going to happen in a flow. So if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling touched by any of this, I would invite you to sit and be in that energy and just see what's happening. Zoom out and look at that energy, look at yourself, look in and feel. If you've decided that the unknown is scary, it may be helpful to admit that you've clamped down your life energy. You have shut it off in a way, or turned the faucet down so it's pressurized. Let's let the flow of our life energy, our vitality, and the light move through our body. And that is to say, it wants to see the things that don't belong in this new alignment. So we will look at the fears. And I can feel my body release. I can feel deeper breaths. And I know that the last 3 weeks, I have become more tense in my body, which in the last 6 months has been not the case. I've really been able to go with my flow and allow things to unfold, and wonderful things have unfolded. And I think because of some of the things that I touched into, it's almost like I went into an old closet and pulled out some of those old money fears, because I was thinking about buying a house and having farm animals and how much that would cost. It just re-triggered something that was buried back in that corner of the closet. And I'm really actually grateful now that I'm talking about it in this way, especially that came up so that I can clear it and that I can land back in my alignment. Sometimes I don't need clearing and I can just shift back and resonate more strongly into the new space of myself, the one that knows that all is taken care of. Everything is supporting me when I'm in my flow, in my energy, in my alignment. And in that space is where the most beautiful things happen and complete prosperity and abundance. It's pretty much lined up in that space. And I just have to line up with it and let it unfold. I realize I have abandoned at times my friend, the unknown. The unknown is actually my friend. It is actually something holding me in this beautiful experience, saying, come to me, come to the aliveness, come to the present moment, because everything's possible here. I'm part of that great everything, that great void, and the emerging of every possibility, any possibility, and the possibility that is me in this moment. And when I abandon the unknown, I lose mystery, I lose vitality and aliveness. There's an unexpected energy that gives us this magic that is that beautiful part of life that's unplanned, unknown, unfolding in ways that can delight us every moment. This is the vital energy of our body. So let's embrace the uncertainty, let go, and allow things to show us how good they can be. Let's lean back a little instead of trying to race to make it a certain way, and let it land in its beauty, and then giving us a new baseline for feeling that this is a benevolent universe. This is a beautiful universe that's supporting you. And there are so many beings here that are supporting every angle of your ascension and your alignment and your life. As you lean into this story of how the universe around you works, then it becomes. This is creating heaven on earth, as some people say, or creating just the most magical universe around you. You are creating that. You are creating that, and everyone can create it. And it's when we forget that we are creating this, that we think everything else is having power over us. Everything else has power over us. And we become the victim to this circumstance of actually our own creation. And then we create victimhood. We create that experience. I've definitely done it. Definitely do it sometimes. But I catch myself when I see it and I want to create something different. So can you find the frequency of feeling like the unknown is so magical, so yummy, so much can happen here that you create and you decide, and it's not any of those fears? Can you allow any energies that aren't this to go, to release, and to prune off of your energy set? For me, it feels way better to believe this, so why choose a worse thought, a worse belief, a worse feeling? Sometimes I do. Disclaimer, and I am consciously choosing suffering. For about 3 weeks, I've known that I need to just sit in deep meditation, let my body unwind, sleep a lot, rest, nap, not do a lot. And I've still chosen to suffer because I chose to run on the belief that if I don't do this, I won't have enough. And I knew there was something not right about that. I just wasn't ready to look. I just wasn't ready to risk, my ego risking not having enough. But I just bought into a fear that wasn't really real. And I'm chuckling and just having humor about it, which is a new way for me compared to feeling so serious about it. So can you chuckle at the beliefs that you have? Can you chuckle and laugh and be in amusement that you've identified so much with your fears that you live in them and you believe them and you do the things that they say? And sometimes those things end up being out of your true alignment. And you're essentially barking up the wrong tree. You're choosing to create action over here that will result in certain outcomes that come from that fear frequency that you chose to act from. So sometimes inspired action from alignment takes time to let that emerge, to let the alignment fully happen, and to let that inspiration come from that new place. and not from the old idea that you still have in your mind, that mind construct that maybe lingered around. So that's what I'm dealing with, releasing that mind construct. I do need to sit and find a new alignment that allows me to feel completely whole. I think there are things there, uploads, downloads, new frequencies and energies that are waiting for me to embody and feel into, so that when I come into action again, maybe that takes a day, maybe that takes a month. My fear is that it takes longer than a month, but that's just fear talking again. Because usually when we do this, when I do this, I come out of it fairly quickly. My fear of how long this will take is actually far longer than the reality of what it does take. So I know I need to go into that space for myself. And that requires me just to hibernate, be in my bed or be in the sauna, both. I do still work out at the gym because that lets the energy flow in different ways. And I feel really good. I feel like my well-being is still solidly important right here. I will not choose to avoid and resist what I know I need to do now. So for you, is there a purpose that resisting that inner call serves? What purpose does not listening have for you in this moment? And maybe it's just to continue your suffering. Maybe there's a deeper resonance in you that has felt that you need to suffer. This is how life is, or that you're just used to it. I've been used to it, but I'm starting to be used to a new experience, which is I'm in pleasure and delight and fun and yummy experiences all the time, and everything supports me in this way. The other day, about 3 days ago, when I did sit for longer than I was doing and I went deeper, I did receive some yummy energy or connection. And it was that I could feel my energy touch into such a high frequency of masters, of ascended beings, and I felt their support for me. I felt that connection was repaired or made, and that they were letting me know that they're here for me. So this really high level and deep level at the same time of support is here for me. And I think it's been here for me this whole time. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now to continue that ascension journey. And I'm guessing if you're still listening to this right now, that there's something that calls you, whether that's calling you to your ascension journey further, or if it's something that's nudging you that you need to look at or feel or see or embrace or embody. Oh, I paused so long and felt that there was nothing left to say. So that's great. I think I'm gonna shut this off, not edit it right away, and I'm gonna lie in my bed until I have a client for the day. And then I'm gonna spend time just seeing what happens. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do nothing. And I'm not living in that frequency anymore that I have to do in order to have. I'm gonna just be, and I'm gonna let the being unfold itself inside of me to become what wants to emerge, because I feel it and I'm going to be ready for it. I'm making space. I give. I surrender. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sending me messages, for letting me know you are listening, for suggesting topics, asking questions, sharing your challenges so that I may know that you want to hear something about those topics. It's really touched me. I'm so thankful for you. And it gives me energy to continue forward in a really vulnerable way, sharing whatever it is that is happening, truly happening, and not just sharing some insights that I learned or teaching something, but to share from me. So thank you so much. I also want to mention that as we approach the end of 2025, I have the Ally with Death meditation that I made several years ago with a friend, Larry St. Germain. He did some beautiful, evocative, stirring handpan music next to my voice. And I'm guiding you through a simulation of your death so that you can let go and release all the things that you need to, that are choking off your life force, that are making you feel like you need to control instead of surrender. And letting that burn off, letting the body metabolize that through so that you can touch into your purpose, your presence, and your current intention, and what brings you vitality and life now. So to ally with death is to bring life forward and to rebirth and to refresh. So if you need a reset button, or if you know someone who might benefit from this or might want to receive this as a gift, check this out at CandiceWoo.com/death. There is a sale going on, and it's $33 until the end of the year, so meaning end of 2025. So if you're listening to this later into the future, you can still order this. It might just be regular price, but it's about 80 minutes. And I guide you through the entire thing. It's great if you set up some candles on a dark night and let yourself drop deep into this music, my voice, your process, and let what's old come to the surface and be moved out and to be composted for new life. I've got some really cool episodes coming out for you in January 2026. I have a listener who wanted to hear about body shame and how to heal her relationship with her body. I've got a series on manifesting love, the relationship that you want. And I'd love to hear from you if you have questions for me of any kind, if you have challenges in your life that you would want to hear my perspective on, or some healing tools, etc. Anything at all, I'd love to hear from you. Email me at Candice. Wait, I didn't even know my email. No, it's embody@CandiceWoo.com. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'm going to leave you with that beautiful handpan music from Larry St. Germain that is on the Ally with Death meditation, and I will see you next time on the Embody Podcast.